What's up, guys? I want to do an open chord lesson today for my more beginner students just getting into playing these chords. Anyone who's having a tough time, especially keeping up with rhythm, let's get right into it. If we have just our G to D to C, that's all we're going to do just for right now. Right? I mean, that progression, you can play like a million songs with that. So what's happening is usually with this instrument as a whole, learning it is if you're trying to learn too much information, it's like biting off more than you can chew, and you're going to keep hitting the same wall. So what I usually find is G, and when we go to that D, we just take forever. We're kind of overly cautious, and then we eventually get there. Now that time period between those two chords isn't going to decrease all that quickly, right? Because you're just hitting this wall and trying to do more than physically you're able to, and even mentally you haven't learned these motions yet. So we're trying to take it one finger at a time. We're trying to build small steps up to getting that change. So what I'll have my students do is G, and just move your first finger to where it's supposed to go for the D chord. That's it. So it looks like that. And you just move. And then that ends up being really comfortable. All right, and then you're gonna do the same thing with your third finger. Now for this, it ends up being the same. So your third finger's kind of already there. Don't even have to play, and let the strings ring if they want to. And then eventually your middle finger, which is going to make the biggest jump, right? That's gonna be the hardest one. All right, so once that starts getting comfortable, the time between the chords is getting smaller and smaller. And then what we do is we slow the tempo down and see if you can just play through it. Because also, if you're giving yourself enough time to make that change and not playing the chord until you're absolutely ready, that's also gonna hinder the movement. So just go ahead. Even if it sounds like this. Whatever it sounds like, just try to keep that rhythm going nice and slow. So you're working, your right hand is kind of pressuring your left hand to make that change a little bit quicker once the steps, like we're saying, one finger at a time, becomes a little bit easier. All right, now let's move on. You're gonna do the same thing. Take your first finger for C. That's it, just make that change. All right, second finger, add that in there. All right, and then your third finger. And same thing, slow the tempo down now. Until it becomes comfortable. Now, I'm obviously not like a neuroscientist, but I'm not sure, especially in teaching and even in my own playing, I'm not actually sure that you can move all, like I think technically you're moving one finger at a time when you're moving from chord to chord, right? It's just each finger, that the time is so small when you start getting better that it seems like you're moving your whole hand at the same time. That's why I like doing that approach, especially starting with your first finger, which is a little bit stronger and definitely has a little bit more mobility. That's my theory. I don't exactly know if that's true. So I want you guys to try that. Now, this is the next step. Let's just take a chord that's that G to D, all right? So I'm gonna move here, a little closer. Now my third finger, what we don't want, just like when we're doing some of the other training and keeping our motion down, what we don't wanna do is lift up if we don't have to. So this is gonna get a little difficult for some of you guys. Play your G, and I'm doing my G with the third fret on both the first and the second string. You play your G, and then you're actually gonna play your second string while you move to D. All right? So you're not allowed to lift your third finger up. And go nice and slow. I'm going a little fast right now, so nice and slow. slow, just like that. That is an awesome training. That's actually really difficult because you're moving all of your fingers around. Actually, one of your weakest fingers, or what I think is your weakest finger. But you guys to try that, and then for you guys that have played, you know, whether it's like we're gonna go to that C add 9. There's a bunch of songs that do that. Instead of going to a C, it's a C add 9, which is your C chord. Instead of that, you're still gonna play your bottom 2 strings on the 3rd fret, and then the 5th string, 3rd fret, and the 4th string. So basically your G just moved down. I love that chord specifically because now you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna do G, play the 2nd string, your D, play your 2nd string, and then your C add 9, back to G. And then when that gets comfortable, what I really want you guys to do is just try going back and forth between G and that C add 9. And that's great to try to match those 2 fingers to making those changes really quickly and speed up the tempo. Now you guys should be able to speed up the tempo. And that chord change is pretty easy. So it's showing those, or keeping those 2 fingers down while these 2 are moving at the same time, all right? Like I said, we're just doing building blocks up to getting these chords down. Now, the next lesson that I would do, and I'm throwing a lot out at you guys, is an E major to an A minor. All right, this has the same idea. Like I said, my theory is that you're actually moving 1 finger at a time. You're just cutting that time down if you're doing a G to a C, right? This is your entire hand. You're kind of locking these fingers in, and you're just moving everything down 1 fret. So what I don't want you guys to do is E, and then 1 finger at a time to A minor. I want to see if you guys can lock in that form and just back and forth. Nice and easy. Everything moves all together. All right, so that's how we're building up to playing these chords as a whole. That lesson in itself is going to cover a lot of your left hand motion and a lot of the exercises and the muscles that you'll need to navigate through any of the open chords to play any of them. So I hope that helped, guys. Let me know if there's anything else that you'd like. I'm about to leave for Europe, so I'm going to keep posting videos while I'm on the road. I love you guys. Thanks.